What's going on, guys? It's me, Zach, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. So here I'm going to go over four receivers that I've looked at as, or what I perceive to be very undervalued currently in PPR. Right now, I think a lot of these guys have their ADP a lot lower than it should be. I think these are guys you should really look to target in your drafts at the right price. So with that, I'll get to the first one. So the first one here I've got is Keenan Allen. He is currently going as wide receiver 10, so it's not like he's getting drafted as a non-top tier receiver, but he was seventh in points per game last season. Hunter Henry's a part and opens up even more targets in that offense. And he didn't even have Justin Herbert all of last season last year, and he still finished seventh in points per game. I personally expect Herbert to take even a larger leap forward along with that entire offense. Like there's going to be a lot more scoring opportunities for Keenan Allen. And really, I don't see any world where he finishes below that wide receiver 10. I really think he's got a chance to be a top 3 fantasy receiver this year. So I would be eager to get Keenan Allen in pretty much any draft I can. And obviously, you guys all know how talented he is. But I think he's a guy that kind of gets overlooked a lot. So I'd certainly look to grab Keenan Allen in drafts this year. So the next guy I've got here is Tyler Lockett. He's currently getting drafted as the wide receiver 22 in PPR. He did finish last season as wide receiver 8. I understand that is a little inflated because he had a couple of those monster games, including that 200 receiving yard game against the Cardinals. But Seahawks have brought in a new offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron, and he's going to look to utilize a lot more quick passing, similar to what the Rams do in their offense. And I think utilizing quick passing is actually going to do a lot more to help Tyler Lockett than it will DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is most certainly the deep threat in that offense. And Lockett is more of their possession receiver. And I think that's something that Shane Waldron is really going to look to utilize. And Seahawks gave Lockett a very large extension over this offseason, and they clearly believe in him. Russell Wilson believes in him. He's certainly a receiver that Russell trusts. And we all know the Seahawks offense is potent. I know they can sort of sputter at times, but on the year as a whole, they're going to have put up top 5 numbers, probably maybe at worst top 10. And you don't really have to worry about Russell getting hurt. A lot of these other receivers, their quarterbacks have injury issues, and Russell's never missed a game. So you're really getting a safe receiver in Tyler Lockett, and a guy that, yeah, you're going to have some weeks where he's going to lay an egg for you, but you're going to have some weeks where he wins you your week. And at wide receiver 22, he's easily going to outpace those numbers. And it's just, I can't understand why he's going that low. So the next guy I want to talk about is Cooper Kupp. He's currently going as the wide receiver 22, along with Lockett. But he finished as the wide receiver 26 last season, so I am expecting him to take a leap because I do believe that Matthew Stafford is an upgrade over Jared Goff. I don't think that's necessarily something that's very debatable. But also his touchdown numbers in 2020 regressed from in 2019. He went from scoring 10 touchdowns in 2019 to 3 in 2020. So I do think 10 is a little high for a receiver of Cooper Kupp stature, but I also think 3 is really low. So I'd expect him to finish the season in the 6 to 8 range for touchdowns. So that's going to be another point or two a game you're getting out of him, which actually makes a pretty big leap. And he's really safe. He's had 90 plus receptions in each of the last 2 seasons. He had 94 in 2019 and 92 this last season. So it's going to be really hard if you get a receiver this late that you can pretty much count on finishing as a wide receiver 2. And he's got legitimate upside if Stafford meshes with that offense. So I do think he could be a wide receiver 1. I prefer him to Robert Woods. I think he's more talented, and if he can stay healthy, which he's done a decent job of lately, I do think Cooper Kupp's a steal at his current ADP. So the last one I'm going to talk about here is Michael Pittman Jr. He's going down a lot lower at wide receiver 44, but he really did flash in his rookie season. I think a lot of us knew he was really talented coming out of USC. And the Colts looked to get him the ball really often. In the second half of the season, he had, I want to say, 6 targets a game, which might not sound like a lot, but for a rookie, that kind of is, especially on a team that doesn't have to pass a lot. They also looked to give him the ball, and they handed the ball off to him several times. And he looked really good with the ball in his hands. I don't see any reason why the Colts won't look to do that even more. T.Y. Hilton's another year older. I would expect him to really carry a very large load in that offense. And I do expect them to experience improved quarterback play. I don't think Carson Wentz is going to be a top 10 quarterback by any means, but I do think he's an upgrade over Philip Rivers. I think he makes that offense a lot more versatile. that's really going to help that offense as a whole. And I think Pittman's going to be one of the main beneficiaries of that. Outside of Pittman, there's not a whole lot of competition for targets in that offense. You do have T.Y. Hilton, and then you've got Paris Campbell coming off of injury, but there's no guarantees with either of those two guys. I think somebody's going to emerge as the number one in that offense. I think it will be Pittman. I really think Pittman's got a shot to finish as a wide receiver 2, definitely a top 30 wide receiver this year, and I would be ecstatic to get him at wide receiver 44. So that was it for this video. It was a pretty quick video for you guys. If you guys have any other wide receivers that I didn't talk about that you're really viewing as undervalued, please feel free to let me know in the comments and sort of explain to me why you think that. And if there's any people I put up that you disagree with, please feel free to comment again and let me know. I love hearing everybody's opinions. Like, that's really important. But yeah, if you like content like this, please be sure to like and subscribe. Follow my Twitter. It's at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season gets going. And I mentioned this in a previous video, but if we can get interest in some sort of subscriber fantasy league, there was interest expressed in that at the tail end of last season, I'd be happy to do that. So if enough people seem interested in that, we'll maybe do some sort of trivia, one question at the beginning of each video, and first person to get it right will earn themselves a spot in the league. So then we'll do that 10 people, and then there'll be Tyler and I in that 12-person league as well. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to me talk. It's really awesome. And have a nice rest of your day. Thank you guys. Bye.